Hey, what's going on? Skidgore back with another video. Want to say something, Binks? Binky, want to say something? No? Want to say something? I guess not. Maybe later. She always gets so skittish as soon as I put the camera on. See if I can do it right this time. Alright, what's up, man? Skidgore, back with another video. Thank y'all for watching. Cheers. I found two C's hiding out, so I will get those done. Start with The Coffin. I've actually never seen this movie. It's from Vicious Circle Films, which they're usually a hit or a miss, but it looked kind of interesting. Looks pretty crazy. The Coffin. And then the last C for now is called The Corridor from IFC Midnight. This movie is a trip, man. This movie is really weird. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like five friends that all turn on each other because of this corridor that forms suddenly, and they can see into the future, and they're haunted by their pasts, and it's a weird one. The Corridor, for sure. I would check that one out. Getting on with the D's, we have The Day the Earth Stood Still. Classic sci-fi alien film. Michael Rennie's performance is absolutely amazing. Robert Wise is such an amazing director with a really original vision, and I like the fact that these aliens just want to get off of Earth and go back home. They don't want to terrorize or hurt anybody, but because of our own ignorance, we try to eradicate them, and pretty much we turn on them, you know. But The Day the Earth Stood Still is a great sci-fi classic, one of my absolute favorites. It's no surprise that Amicus is one of my favorite horror companies. So Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Absolutely amazing film. Love it. Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee together. Amazing. One of my favorite anthologies. You ever go to Japan for Dark Water? I thought this one was pretty damn good. Pretty creepy in parts, actually. I thought this one really delivered the goods as far as the creeps go. It's actually based on a novel that I do have to read yet, but looks pretty cool. Here's a classic here. Umberto Bava. Demons. One of my absolute favorites. Such a great premise with the demons and the whole movie theater. Love it. Love the gore. Love the soundtrack. Yeah, even the metal by like Motley Crue and Accept Saxon. It kind of goes with the film in a way. It's just kind of a crazy, batty premise, you know. But yeah, the Demons is amazing. Boris Karloff. I think this was his last ever. I believe this was his last ever role in makeup ever in Die Monster Die. Definitely good H.P. Lovecraft adaptation of the Color Out of Space story. Pretty cool. This movie is unbelievably insane. A Pan Wu Chung film called Dream Home. This movie is bonkers, man. Wow. This chick is absolutely insane, and she's just insists on getting this house. She just has her heart set on this house, and she will do anything to get it and have a taste of the good life because she never had it. And she'll kill people and very extreme ways to get whatever she wants, and the gore is just flying off the screen at you in this movie. Dream Home is absolutely amazing. If you're a fan of just crazy batshit Asian horror, shit flying everywhere type movies, Dream Home is for you. I'm gonna take another drink here. Throat's really dry today. Bye, Binky. I guess she's gonna leave us. Okay. Alright. Come back if you want, okay? Jaws pushes the door open anytime. We have Dead and Buried. This is one of my favorite, I guess you could say it's a zombie movie, but there's so much more going on in this movie than just your typical zombie movie. This town of Potter's Bluff, just no one is what they seem, and it's just, it's totally crazy. And really good special effects in this by Stan Winston, the late great Stan Winston. I'm always a big fan of Dan O'Bannon, rest in peace. And this is one of his best films, right up there with Return of the Living Dead, as far as I'm concerned. Stars a very young Robert Englund as well, as one of the townies. And, the late great Jack Albertson, who plays this crazy mortician who drives around listening to like big band music, and he's not what he seems. He's got kind of a sinister thing going. Him and this town, they're all in cahoots together. But if you've never seen Dead and Buried, I won't ruin it. But it's one of my absolute favorites. 80s classic zombie films for sure. Check it out. Then we have the sequel here to Lamberto Bava's Demons. We got Demons 2. This is a movie that really brings back memories for me. As a kid, I wasn't really allowed to rent rated R movies. I got around it. I got around that loop anyway, like, we all did pretty much. But my sister's boyfriend at the time, he was a big horror fan, and he would always take me to the video stores, mom and pop video stores, and we would always rent horror movies that I'm not supposed to see. So that's how I saw. The first ones I saw were Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, Day of the Dead, and Demons 2. I remember we got all three of them and watched them. And that was quite an experience, seeing that, because I think Jaws was like the only thing I saw up until then, and the Hammer films maybe, and whatever was on USA Up All Night at the time, maybe TNT Monster Vision. But to see a movie uncut like this was just mind-boggling for a youngster at the time. And I always remember that kid when he turns into a demon. That always stuck out. I like Demons 2. It's a good movie. Good memories. This is a made-for-TV film from the 70s called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. One of my absolute favorites. I think this movie, it's starting to get a little bit more recognition now because it was remade. It was recently remade. So I guess it's getting a little more love, and it's also got a nice, Blu-ray and release now. But the only way to get it for the longest time is you had the beat up VHS or this archive collection DVD. So I really should upgrade because I really like this movie. Really good little creature feature in the house, haunted house type movie. Kim Darby's amazing in it. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, one of my favorites. We have Dracula AD 1972. This would be the second from last film, Dracula film, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing together. Caroline Munro's in this one. I think this was her debut, I believe. Such a beautiful woman. But, I like this one. Good psychedelic, acidy rock. It was just a sign of the times, 72. And even Dracula had to go through the acid age, Pretty cool movie. I know Christopher Lee does not like this film, or he didn't like that film. Oh, another Christopher Lee classic here. The Devil Rides Out. Excuse me. The Devil Rides Out, one of Christopher Lee's best performances. Actually, he plays a pretty good guy for once. He played good guys, various good guys every once in a while, but he was mostly known for, the baddies and the villains and shit, but he actually really was good in this one. It's got this story was based on a book by Dennis Wheatley. Excellent movie, directed by Terence Fisher, who was pretty much like the go-to guy when it comes to Hammer films. Like, the guy was just an amazing film director. But The Devil's Rides Out is amazing. I love it. Also known as The Devil's Bride. This was really good release from Scream Factory. I'm glad they were doing like a lot of these older Hammer films, like The Reptile's another one, and Plague of the Zombies. But Devil Rides Out is great. Oh, we have a classic. Wow. Bela Lugosi and Dracula. Man, need I say more? I don't even know what more to add about this classic film and this classic film actor. It was one of the first ever talkies coming out of the silent era. And you can kind of see it when you watch the film, because there's a lot of scenes where there's no music. But because of that, it just adds to the creepiness and the ambiance, I think. It's beautifully filmed by Karl Freud, who's a German filmmaker, and just unbelievable. Todd Browning, of course, would go on to also direct Freaks, which was pretty much the end of his career, but he really solidified himself with Dracula. And of course, Lugosi playing the part on stage for years. It wasn't even the first choice for Universal when they started making this movie, which is surprising because of all the stage plays he did around the world with this part. But yeah, Dwight Frye as Renfield, you can't beat that performance. I will say quick, the Spanish version with Lupita Tovar, amazing film as well. Use some of the same exact sets, but I think it's actually kind of better filmed than the Universal film. Carlos Villarreal as Dracula was really good too, but nothing can ever beat Lugosi as Dracula. I mean, it's a classic for a reason, and just spawned so many amazing films. In fact, it spawned pretty much the Universal cycle, so to speak, because after this you had Frankenstein. So much respect, Mr. Lugosi and Todd Browning. From IFC Films, we have The Devil's Doll. I really enjoyed this one. This was really good. Modern horror film for sure. Excellent. Check that one out. Really good modern werewolf film here. Dog Soldiers. Jaws, Aliens, and Predator with a werewolf twist. Yeah, that's pretty much it. A little bit of Night of the Living Dead too, because when they're secluded in that house, and they're all kind of turning on each other, and they can't decide who's who, and yeah, this is a fucking amazing film, man. A great werewolf film. Dog Soldiers, really good gore as well. Very memorable. Here we have William Shatner in the classic The Devil's Rain. One of my absolute favorite classic satanic 70s satanic panic type films, Ernest Borgnine is amazing as the devil. This movie was actually made with the Satanic Church. Anton LaVey is actually in this film, so yeah, it's the real deal. Really, John Travolta plays one of the victims in the movie. Can't tell it's him. Actually, yeah, you can tell it's him. But yeah, that's kind of funny. See what he went on to become. I guess we all got to start somewhere. But Devil's Reign is a great film. I really should upgrade this because it's really got a nice Blu-ray release, and I love this film. And I've just been rocking this VCI Entertainment cheap version, but still, hey, it's an awesome movie. I love it. That scene at the end when they're all melting. I remember I caught that on TV one time when I was a kid, of just kind of channel surfing, and that part just came on, and it was mind blowing, man. Mind blowing. Of course, huge fan of Christopher Lee. Where we got Dracula Rises from the Grave, one of my absolute favorites. I think Veronica Carlson, rest in peace, is one of the most beautiful Hammer babes ever. I think she's one of the most attractive women that they ever had, and she's a very, very fine actress as well. She really sells the part, and you really feel for her character when Dracula is terrorizing her. Rupert Davies is the Reverend, is amazing as well. He was also in Witchfinder General, I believe. So he's a great actor. Freddie Francis, he's another staple of Hammer talent for sure. Dracula's Risen from the Grave, one of my absolute favorites for sure. A lot of vampires in this showing. Daughters of Darkness, kind of a modern telling of the Elizabeth Bathory story, the Blood Countess. Delphine Seyrig, I don't know if I said that right, but she kills it in this role as Elizabeth Bathory. Love it. It's a great film. Stunning visuals. A movie where the cinematography just kind of takes over and just puts you in a whole nother world. Awesome movie, Daughters of Darkness. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we got two versions here. We got 1931 with Frederick Marsh, my absolute favorite, and we have 1941 with Spencer Tracy and Ingrid Bergman. I like them both, but of course the Frederick Marsh, the first horror film star to ever win an Oscar, I think, back in '32. Ahead of its time. Well, yeah, the John Barrymore version was amazing as well. I have that in a cheap pack. I really should get a nice version of the 1920 version because he's great as Conrad Veidt is great as Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but Frederick Marsh is just as good. Amazing makeup transformation by Bud Westmore. It's just Wally Westmore, sorry. One of the Westmores, I know that. But just a great film to watch. We have Devils of Darkness and Witchcraft. I've never seen Devils of Darkness, but I have watched Witchcraft, and Witchcraft is a great film with Lon Chaney Jr., one of his later films. But yeah, that's a really good midnight double feature right there. We have a real classic here, Dead of Night from 1945. One of the best horror anthologies ever made. Actually, one of the first ones. One of the first ones. There were ones before this, but this one really kind of solidified the whole horror anthology that really could, inspire like later Amicus, and then really wanted like Creepshow, stuff like that. But Dead of Night is great. The ventriloquist dummy story is the one that always stands out. With what was the guy's name? Michael Redgrave, yeah. Great film. Yeah, backwoods classic here. Deliverance from '72. Not really a horror movie per se, but man, it definitely has some horrific elements within it, and I think it's appropriate to put it on the shelf because those hillbillies, holy shit, man, they're brutal. And then what this guy has to do to survive, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Deliverance. And I had Demonia in my last showing, but I had the Shriek Show DVD, but I do have the beautiful version from Severin. And it's a great nunsploitation classic from Fulci for sure. Excellent film. Dr. Butcher MD, but I know it more as Zombie Holocaust, and I love that artwork as well. Such a great film. One of Chaz Balun of Deep Red Magazine's favorite movies. He always talked really highly of this one and Burial Ground. And it makes a really good like double feature with this Burial Ground. And you can even throw Fulci Zombie on there as well, because Ian McCulloch is actually in this film as well. But yeah, you get pretty much everything in this movie that you liked about the old Italian horror films. You get cannibalism, you get zombies, full frontal nudity, mad scientists. Like, there's so much going on in this movie. I love Dr. Butcher MD, or as I know it as Zombie Holocaust for sure. Amazing addition from Severin. I would highly get this if you like this film. It's just loaded, and I haven't even had time to watch all this crazy shit on here. Absolutely just loaded with amazing footage. Dr. Butcher MD, amazing. And we have one of my favorite Bob Clark films here, Death Dream. I think this movie, it's also known as The Night Andy Came Home and Dead of Night. But this movie, wow, man. This was an early makeup credit by Tom Savini, actually. I think this is actually one of his first makeup credits after he came back from Vietnam, I believe. Working with Ellen Ormsby, another classic. But yeah, Bob Clark, he wanted to make a statement about the war and what effect it had, you know, and some people came back, some people didn't, and it's kind of a bit of a monkey's paw story, because this boy's mother wishes her back, and he comes back, but not as he used to be. And let's just say shit gets crazy. But if you've never seen Death Dream, I highly recommend this one. This is one of the best Canadian horror films ever. One of my absolute favorites. From '74. Yeah, we have a modern day classic here, I think, at least. I know it gets a lot of hate, and this director gets a lot of hate, but I'm one who likes pretty much everything he does, one way or another. But this is, I don't know, this is probably my favorite. That is The Devil's Rejects. Pretty much known as a modern day classic these days, you know. So many great moments. Seeing this in the theater, it was just, that was amazing. An amazing experience. Just the actors. I mean, the late great Sid Haig, you know, Sherry Moon and Bill Moseley all together. They were just a great team of depravity, basically, and they were just. And of course, I got to say, William Forsythe. Pretty much, Rob Zombie has a way in his movies of making the villains like the anti-heroes that you actually cheer for. So like when the sheriff is torturing Otis, Baby, and Spaulding, you feel sorry for him because you want them to get away, but why am I cheering these people on? They're so horrible. But Rob Zombie has a way of doing that in his films, making the villains the main ones you cheer for. It's pretty amazing. But Devil's Rejects is an amazing film. Love it. One of his best. And this is one of my favorite serial killer films ever made. I highly recommend the book The Last Victim, because it goes more in depth. But this film really does an amazing job. And that is Dear Mr. Gacy. And I was just talking about William Forsythe. Oh, that's weird. Okay. But yeah, he really got into character as Gacy in this film. And it's a pretty terrifying performance because he's really believable. And anything William Forsythe does, the guy's just an amazing actor all around. But he really is believable as Gacy. very threatening performance. And like I said, this is also based on a book called The Last Victim by Jason Moss. And I would recommend that read as well, but definitely check out the movie. And like I said, I'm a fan of, serial killers, so that movie really, it's one of my favorites for sure. Alright, we got two more here. Here's a fun one. From New Zealand, Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. What? No pudding? No one will ever love you like your mother. Oh man, I could quote this movie forever. There's so many. I kick ass for the Lord. There's so many amazing moments in this movie. I will never forget the first time I saw Dead Alive. I went up to this was at the old mom and pop shops, and I said, "Do you have something really gory for me?" And the guy at the counter said, "Yes, I do. It's a movie called Dead Alive." And I never heard of Dead Alive. So at night when my parents were sleeping, I snuck downstairs and put this on. Yeah, it changed my life pretty much. It's one of my absolute favorite zombie movies. That subterranean rat monkey part, oh man, that's funny. And then the baby. So many great moments. I really should upgrade this. But actually this DVD was out of print for the longest time. I think it's back in print, but it's pretty hard to find at the time. For a while, but yeah, I wish Peter Jackson would go back to doing some more of his classic horror films like Dead Alive and Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, stuff like that. Because he was awesome, man. He still is. I mean, I do like the Lord of the Rings movies, but I would love to see this more. I think a lot of his fans would like to as well. Dead Alive, classic. And the last one I have for the D section this week is one of my favorites, based on the dastardly crimes of Wisconsin's finest, Ed Gein. Deranged. Robert Blossoms as Ezra Cobb. You cannot beat that performance. That's just one of the best. That's one of the best classic deranged, literally, performances ever. Like, you feel sorry for the guy, but you hate him as well. And when his mother dies, it's heartbreaking because that's all he had in the world. And then he became this monster. And like I said, it's loosely based on the life of Ed Gein. Some of it's a little embellished, but some of it is right on as well. I don't think a lot was really known about the Gein case at the time this movie was made. There's another movie called Three on a Meat Hook, which is kind of based a little bit on Ed Gein as well. I'd recommend that one. But Deranged with Robert Blossoms is amazing. This film... who directed this one? Was this... Jeff Gillen. Okay. Yeah, and definitely effects by Ellen Ormsby. Some really amazing special effects. And I believe Tom Savini also did some special effects on this as well. Some of the corpses and the eyeballs and stuff, I think he did some of that. Just a really great film all around, though. If you're a fan of serial killers, or just really good performances from people like Robert Blossoms, he's amazing. He was also in Christine, too. He was really good in that. And I believe he was also the guy in Home Alone that everyone's afraid of, but then he turns into a really good guy at the end and hits all those bad guys with the shovel and shit and saves Kevin. Yeah, that's Robert Blossoms. So he's a very diverse, great actor. Rest in peace. But yeah, Deranged is amazing. Alright, well, that is it for now. I definitely will have some more D's in the future. Thank you all very much for watching and subscribing. I always appreciate it. And see you next time. Let's get gore. Gore forever.